Hello. It's 4:20. Let's get high. All right. So I've been reading from my book that's going to come out in a month or so, August 17th, called Zohar Beyond the Black Hole. And we've gotten to the part of the book, chapter 7, which is the biggest part of the book, where I translate and explain the first 13 paragraphs of the Zohar. And the first 13 paragraphs, they're set off from the subsequent Zohar, as though there's a little packet of itself. And in here we can see how creation came into being. So first, as I've done in the book, I present the first paragraph, and then I break it down into short little pieces and try to explain each peach. And I should warn you that my pronunciation is not the best. I don't have the ability to remember sound, and I've mostly learned by myself. I'll do the best I can. First paragraph. So I'll just read it so you can hear it, and then okay. Reish hamanuta damalka, galif galifi betihiri iloa, batzina de cardenita, nafi gosasim destima maraza de ensof, kutra baguma, niitz beiska, lo chaver lo akum, lo samuk, lo yaruk, vlo gavan klal. Kad medid mesicha avi gavonim la anhora legoy begoy botina nafik chad neviu demene it's dabu gavonim latata. All right, so that's the first paragraph. So we'll take it kind of phrase by phrase. Bereisha Minuta de Malka, in the head of the High King. That's how it begins. In the head of the High King. In any teaching, questions are requisite. Questions show a lack of understanding. To a teacher, the question is an opportunity to impart knowledge into the empty vessel of the student. One does not question. One who does not question does not learn. For example, the first three words of Book Zohar, Bereish Hamanuta de Malka, in the head of the High King, is full of questions. This Aramaic phrase is tied to the first word in Torah, Bereshit, in the beginning. Illuminating a generality in the Torah, the oral explanation of the text can never be separated from the simple meaning of the written word. The simple meaning is not the literal meaning, as in Bereshit, in the beginning of what? The simple explanation is, in the beginning of these 7,000 years of human creation upon planet Earth. However, Zohar adds a new dimension by referring to the beginning of creation, what scientists call the Big Bang, where something comes out of nothing. The logic of something from nothing spawns other aberrant theories like life arising from the inanimate, or human evolution from apes. What really happened What really happened? Nothing came out of something. For creation to happen, before creation happened, the concept of nothing did not exist. All that existed was Bore, creator, and light, or light of Bore, creator, known as Or Ein Sof, light without end. A quiescent light considered the great name of God. The Eitz Chaim, tree of life, is a geometric prototype to form made from 10 luminaries with specific attributes stamped everywhere throughout creation. But the great name, or Ein Sof, light without end, has infinite attributes. Just as the name is not the person, the name of God is not God. The Creator is completely beyond names. God is nothing of heaven or earth. Therefore, God can be everywhere to everyone always. The letter Bet, 2, begins both the written Torah and the Zohar. The letter Bet, 2, at the beginning of a word is generally a preposition meaning in or with. Combined with the word Rosh, head, together mean in the head. Elsewhere in Zohar is written, creation went up in the mind of Bore, creator. Bore has no head, no mind, but these two similes correspond to the first two aspects of creation. The head is where the brain and the mind are housed, forming a confine. For Bore, who is beyond any kind of confine, descending into the head is low. Bore wants to be known in low, but a simple confine is not low enough to satisfy God's desire, which went up in the mind of Bore, indicating creation would be based on logic, depicted as cause and effect. The next two words, Hamamuta de Malka, height of the king, refers to the tree of life. The high king, meaning the tree of life planted in the head, a confined area within the Or Ein Sof, light without end. It is the Eitz Chaim, tree of life, which adds dimension to the confine, bringing about high and low. High is in the brain and low is in the mouth. So why didn't the text say high and low instead of high and king? The human being is formed in the precise image of the Eitz Chaim, composed with 10 attributes. Similarly, the earth is formed from 7 continents and 3 oceans. The solar system is made of the sun and 9 planets. The human form is comprised by these same 10 attributes into 3 triangles: head, torso, and arms, legs plus sex, and lastly, mouth, considered melech, since the king rules by decree from the lips of the ruler. What separates the human being from the animal is our ability to articulate thoughts into words. The Eitz Chaim, tree of life, comes from the name Yud He Vav He. The Yud He corresponds to the 2 hemispheres of the brain, and Vav 6 corresponds to the 2 lower triangles: torso and arms, hips and sex. The final He is found in the power of speech. The Yud He Vav He reflects the concept of Echad, 1, since these 4 letters can be rearranged to make the 3 states of time, Hoya, Hoya past, Hova present, Yihiyeh future. Time and space are encapsulated by this famous four-letter name, Yud He Vav He, the Or Ein Sof, light without end, is composed of infinite names. Zohar begins by giving the coordinates to creation, a bubble composed of 10, floating within an infinity of light. Bereish Hamaruta da Malka, in the head of the High King, is the prototype to creation replicated in the production of stars into galaxies, the form of the solar system, the form of the earth, and the form of the human being. Bereish Hamaruta da Malka, in the head of the king, represents the primal beginning of creation, establishing the Esser Sphirot, 10 luminaries etched with all the information necessary to conduct the entirety of creation from the high spiritual worlds down to Tevel, earth, the lowest place in creation. Zohar describes the initial process of creation as an engraving, hollowing out in a spiral motion from within Or Ein Sof, a place for creation to exist by means of attenuation causing weight to occur. Yet, at this level, the Or Ein Sof, the Or light, and Kli vessel are one. The Or Ein Sof, light without end, has no end because there is no motion. The symbiotic relationship between time and space is measured in movement. The spinning motion of a tool hollowing out a space for creation happened by entering the smallest letter, Yud, 10, just a point with a tiny horn caused the static energy to turn dynamic. The confine of time and space is low to Boré, who is without confine, just wants to be known and low. Since Boré is beyond time and space, Boré is able to create all possibilities from the very beginning. The end point of creation is the physical manifestation of Eitz Chaim, tree of life, the human being walking upon Tevel, earth, with Bechira Chofshit, free choice, is the lowest level of creation. The first angel, Michael, was created by Boré to have cognizance recognizing the creator of Shemayim ethereal and Eretz terrestrial. Seemingly, the purpose of creation had been fulfilled. Boré, who is high, was acknowledged by creation, who is low. But the desire of Boré cannot be satisfied by one angel. Like the unscratchable itch, creation forged further forward until the universe became a cornucopia teeming with spiritual life, angels without end, all replicated from the first angel, Michael. Everything in creation was set from this primordial engraving of the Eitz Chaim into the space made within the Or Ein Sof. Because this is, I forgot to add, well, sorry. This last part that I'm reading is based on Galif Betihurila Betsina Karnisa, completely engraved in the high brightness, cradle of hardness. There are 10 components to the Eitz Chaim, and the number 10 is connected to the letter Yud through gematria. The form of the letter Yud depicts the head of a drill, the first movement of creation eventually displayed in the universe based on 10. The sun and 9 planets, the 7 continents and 3 oceans, the human form built in three triangles plus the power of speech. The letter Yud is also engraved in the opening at the end of the penis, considered the source of nakedness, exposing the first letter of the name Yud He Vav He. The word kardanita contains two words depicting different aspects of hardness: kar, heavy in Aramaic, and din, law in Hebrew. Both heavy and law come from contraction. The Kabbalah, key to Zohar, calls this first action of creation Simson Harishon, first contraction, vacating the original light, leaving a swirling space in place of the original light which had fled. The botzina candlestick gives the sense of metal hardness twisting within or Ein Sof, light without end, causing perturbations, percolating out a disturbance within the quiescence nature of the great name. Botzina de Cardanita is what is on the far side of creation we call the black hole. Galifi, thoroughly engraves, means that there were many black holes within the first contraction called Mokum Pane, empty space. Zohar gives us a glimpse into what occurred to create black holes and how they came to produce stars in a spiraled form like the initial engraving twisting through or Ein Sof, light without end. Only in the last 100 years have telescopes been able to observe what Rebbe Shimon explained in Zohar. The universe has a logical construction. Zohar presents a strong challenge to those who believe in a Big Bang theory where something comes out of nothing for no reason. Nihilism. Nafigo Sami Destimo de Razadain Sof went out from inside, most hidden from a hint of infinity. 10 is a hint to infinity, a bubble of creation from where desire of Borei can be known in low, can be satisfied. The Or Ein Sof, light without end, is quiescent because there is no differential. All is equal. Whereas creation is made of dynamic differentials, values, and systems. The concept of going out indicates space and therefore speed measured in time. If something is going out, the question arises from where did something go out? And what is going out? How is it possible? Eitz Chaim, tree of life, can be transported through endless contractions and still remain intact. There are those who want to say, if you put all creation together, that is God. But from Zohar, we see that is ridiculous. Creation at the highest level is only a tiny bubble etched into the great name. Wherever we see Borei, we see the humility of Borei, willing to come down to our level and stand together with us. Each one of us, whose story is beautiful before Borei, who creates moment by moment all of creation, accounting for the mystifying conundrum of physical movement. The first contraction caused the separation between 10 and infinity, but subsequent contractions happen from a logical basis called cause and effect. As is known, Borei created and destroyed worlds until Borei got what was wanted, our universe with endless black holes sporting unique galaxies throughout the universe. This is how chaos turned into order, because fueling the chaos was the original inscription carved into the skull of creation, beginning with perturbations causing black holes, producing hardness, from where stars are destined to come forth. Once we see where creation is, then it is easier to understand our place within the scope of creation. Within the parameters of Or Ein Sof, there is no in or out, no up or down, no differential at all. Perfect in quiescence until Boré had a desire capsulated within an insignificant bubble, like a tiny bubble in a swelling sea of endless water. Only the will of Boré allows creation to exist, but Boré is patient, since time is part of being low. Then Boré must wait for satisfaction coming from being known and low. Even Boré needs to obey the laws of creation for freedom of choice to remain a choice. Kutra bagulma ni'it be'iska lo chaver lo akum lo samuk lo yeruk lo govern klal. Form inserted into amorphous ring, not white, not black, not red, and not green, no color at all. The line of effluence coming forth from the hint of Or Ein Sof, light without end, twisted into a spiral by a ring of Botsina de Cardenisa, cradle of hardness, creates the black hole from where the stars are born in the form of a spiral swirling through space. The apparent chaos is not to be believed. The appearance of disorder we see from the standpoint on table embedded in a solar system situated far from the lips of the spewing black hole is false. Facts contradict theories until scientists are baffled by the exactness of chaos as they grapple with the truth. Science is continually changing while religion never changes. These are the two choices available to society, yet neither is true. Scientists wonder how a Big Bang could produce the same kind of atom everywhere throughout creation. The Zohar answers the 10 components of the Eitz Chaim, tree of life, incubated within the letter Yud, transforming into splintering shards, evacuating the original Or Ein Sof, light without end, but leaving a hint in the form of Eitz Chaim, tree of life. A faint trace of what was initially the infinite names of Boré, reduced down into 4 letters, Yud He Vav He, the everlasting seed to the Eitz Chaim, the tree of life, imprinted throughout creation. Though something was happening, the absence of color indicated the absence of time, meaning movement happened immediately at a speed far exceeding the speed of light. The sine wave had yet to manifest. The definition of life is movement. If it moves, it's alive. Scientists try to stop the movement of the atom by freezing the atom into submission, but they are unable to reach absolute zero because without movement, the atom would disappear and cease to exist. Boré has put a parameter around creation in the form of the speed of light on one hand and absolute zero on the other hand. The right and left hands of Boré squeezing creation to produce life. The speed of light and absolute zero are the 2 boundaries of time and space. Color indicates differential, degrees, and value. The frequency of color attenuated into an atom and eventually in coordination with other atoms produces a frequency in the form of a wavelength uniquely suited for each particular element. Scientists are able to identify elements present in the furthest reaches of outer space by their color signature. However, scientific predictions are predicated on a skewed understanding that time is a line. Time spirals like our galaxy and our DNA. Plotting a spiral is different than plotting a line, which only produces a fake reality. Changing the way we understand time will change and improve the world when truth pervades both heaven and earth. The more in sync we move, the closer we come to Bore. Zohar explains how infinity slows down to the speed of light, which has two opposite dispositions. The ray component of light wants to go faster, but the material of light wants to extend to infinity, where movement ends, causing light to go slower. Thus, a balance is struck between these two opposite expanses, where matter and ray are woven together, creating physical light, where the infinite and the finite dance the dance of life. Death separates the physical body from the light of the soul. Kad midade mesika ave gavanim lanhorva legoy. When space became measurable, color glowed within. The attenuation of creation from the oneness of Bore reflected in Or Ein Sof, light without end, down to time and space is equivalent to nothing coming out of something. The Talmud describes creation coming about through two lines of light along one side of the loom, commanded to go out and create. One line went in, which was male, and the other line went out, which was female. Since this was the primordial form, actual man and woman are the opposite. Man goes out and woman goes in. Then Bore said, "Die enough," and creation stopped expanding. These two lines are the two components of light, ray, and particle. One of the 7 Hebrew names of Bore is Shaddai, who said, "Die enough," to the expansion of creation. The gematria of Shaddai is 314, the first 3 numbers of pi, the interloper between the line and the curve. When Bore gave the command to creation to stop, the line of light halted and became a point, which then reverberated back, turning into waves, which science calls the background noise of creation. Science and Torah need not contradict. The facts of science corroborated by ancient wisdom should work in tandem. The structure of creation is essential to know that our world belongs to the Creator. Looking at creation as though something came out of nothing is inaccurate when, from God's point of view, nothing came out of something. Space, time, and color collude in tricking the human mind into thinking life happens spontaneously instead of a well thought out plan from Bore, creator of the world. What science sees from outside the black hole, what science sees is from outside the black hole, but Zohar confers from within the black hole, a cogent understanding inferring how creation comes into being. I'll go a little over. It's just finishing the first paragraph. Inside hardness went out one stream coloring below. The Or Echad, one light, breaks down endlessly into different vibrations indicative of various colors in the prism of creation, passing through and giving birth to plurality, stemming from duality, originated by the initial separation between Or Ein Sof, reduced down to 10, creating a universe with endless multiplicity, intertwining matter and ray, bringing about life on planet Table, Earth, a place a place able to sustain billions of human beings free to articulate thoughts into speech. The initial vibration of creation is the voice of Boré. In creation, only Boré and the human beings speak. Boré commands and we respond according to the limits of our free will. Boré weaves together color to make creation. Each person is in there is a line of light connected to their soul, having been engraved out of a star. For a short period of time in this physical world, we are able to wheel our light upon table, and in doing so, change all of creation by adding a unique thread into the loom embroidered with heaven and earth. Not only did Boré create creation, but Boré continues to create creation, because one moment without the Creator creating creation ends forever. Boré is here for all of us, all the time, everywhere, throughout creation. The Batsina candlestick is how the black hole looks from the inside, surrounded by Or Ein Sof, light without end. This original contraction, creating an aperture within where within the friction of creation of contraction caused the coalescing of weight, eventually causing an outburst of affluence into an ejaculation of celestial perturbations expressed as endless nikudot. Nikuda, black holes, each with an affluence of elements destined to become stars and planets. Thus the universe was born. The speed of light is the innate confine to movement, stopping creation from further expansion. Yet baffled scientists insist the universe is speeding up into empty space and are unable to supply a reason. What is pushing the universe to expand? According to Zohar, everything is running towards Or Ein Sof, which surrounds creation and everything within creation. Atrophy is not the end of creation. Unity is the finality of creation after eons of years. There is no limit as to how high we can go. Unity below connects with unity above. Space will eventually be swallowed up and time will disappear in a celestial burp. But what we have done, good and bad, will forever be part of the perfect weave in the Or Ein Sof, the great name of Boré. Nonetheless, Boré is completely beyond time and space, and nothing we can do will affect Boré. But the great name of Boré will be changed by our actions, particularly on this low level of existence where a physical cloak hides the light, producing free choice. All the wonders of the universe are orchestrated only for the sake of our world, the center of creation. Thank you. Bye.